So my July reading month was very black and white for me. I had some absolute favorites and I read some of the worst books I've ever read in my life this month. So I got the best of both worlds. So let's get right to it. The first 3 books that I read are actually part of a companion novel series. I don't know if that's like the correct title for it, but it's called Destination Love by Joe Watson. I read the first 3 books, and the first one is called Burning Moon, the second is Almost a Bride, and the third is Finding You. There's actually 5 books in this series, but I only managed to read 3 of them this month. I really wanted to read the next one, which is called My Escape or something like that, but unfortunately the app Libby didn't have it, which, by the way, if you don't know what Libby is, you're welcome. This is a online library app, and basically you just need a digital library card, which you could get for free, and then you have access to thousands of titles. And so that's where I read these books. I actually listened to the audiobook, but because they were so good, I actually bought the physical copies. They have become one of my favorite rom-com novels. They give me exactly what I want. I'm not really a romance type of person because sometimes they just frustrate me. Sometimes I feel like the protagonist overcomplicates things when it really is just a lot more simple. But this one is like unrealistic, but I can't even say that because that's a spoiler. But just know that these are like great books. They're so much fun to read. Now, every book in this 5-part series follows one of the girls from a friend group, and Joe Watson does this thing where she recycles the main plot points, which, you know, makes each book kind of predictable, but easy explanation for me. So we always start off with a girl who's like just going through it, like self-confident, never heard of her, tasted men, trash, and so they're going through this quarter-life crisis, and they decide to spontaneously take a trip somewhere by their lonesome. And then on their trip there, you know, there's always some kind of complications, but they meet this guy, and for some reason they start to hang out, and, you know, love and attraction is in the air. So many things happen, and at that point it's like the climax, and I can't explain to you that part because I would literally be spoiling 5 books for you.
Which a part of me is like, that's all it takes. I already got the first part done.
So I want to explain to you very, very briefly what each novel is about. The first one, Burning Moon, follows a character named Lily who's left at the altar, and she decides to go on her honeymoon without her husband or ex-fiance. The second one, named Almost a Bride. Actually, you would think that the second title would go with the first book, considering the synopsis. Actually, did I get that right? Let me check. No, I did. So, Almost a Bride follows a girl named Annie who catches her boyfriend doing some, you know, some steamy things with one of his co-workers, which would make Christian Grey real proud. The third book, Finding You, follows an orphan girl named Jane who is in search of her father, Dimitri. Now, all of them are so much fun, but my favorite is the third one, Finding You. The love interest in this book, like... Every time he would speak, I was like, don't flirt with me, I'm young and impressionable. Although each book follows a different girl, it's very important to follow the order because each book gives you a snippet of the previous... 10, that's a spoiler too? Like... Alright, just know that you have to read this in order because you'd be spoiling yourself. Alright, so the next 3 books are part of a trilogy, so I finished a whole trilogy this month, which would have been a great accomplishment if they weren't so bad. It's called the Dark Elements trilogy by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The first book is called The White Hawk Kiss, the second is called Stone Cold Touch, and the last one is called Every Last Breath. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, you don't have to tell me. The book covers should have been my first warning, but like the protagonist, I decided to ignore all logic. I hated the first book like so much. Like them, okay, this, you know, this whole series deserves a video of its own, which I probably will do because I need to vent. So this is a YA fantasy slash paranormal trilogy, and in this world there are demons and there are warden gargoyles. Now they are both natural enemies. It's kind of like the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other, and we follow this girl named my mind just like blanked out. I just spent more than 1,000 pages in her mind. Her name is Layla, and she is different because she is a hybrid of both warden and demon. And so she has this special ability where she can see people's auras, and she can steal people's souls with a kiss. Like the wise Dua Lipa said, one kiss is all it takes. Oh, shut up. There's actually a love triangle in this book with these two really bland, like no seasoning characters. One of them is a warden gargoyle who Layla grew up with, and the second love interest is a demon who is a borderline sexual predator. I don't know why the author really romanticizes everything he does. Like, he's exactly what I want my child to run away from. And so somewhere in this book there is a plot of a possible demon uprising, and Layla is a big contributor to this, and she needs to stop this uprising from happening. Now, you see, although booktube did me dirty with those last 3 books that I mentioned, it redeemed itself with this next book, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This is such a beautiful, insightful, and devastating book. I think that everyone should read this book, especially considering the recent events such as the death of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Elijah McCain, and like so many more that it's ridiculous. Alright, so my phone decided to act brand new with me and it cut me off for some reason, so I apologize. There's like a weird shift in the camera view. So as I was saying, I feel like The Hate You Give was kind of like a narration of many people's life anyway. And funny enough, I read a comment somewhere where it said this book is like the foreshadowing of the current events that are happening, such as the protests for Black Lives Matter. In my head I'm like, no, it's just that the media is finally deciding to show it, but like, let's just take it back to slavery times. But you know, at least, you know, people are educating themselves on this topic now. And so something that I like about this book is that it points out to many toxic aspects of society right now, such as police brutality, white privilege, abuse, racism, and so much more. But it also speaks about how important it is to use your voice and how there's power in it. And something that I like about this book is its play on music. The title of this book is actually based on one of Tupac's most famous phrases, thug life, which means the hate you gave little infants fucks everybody. And I think that is a very powerful message. I always hear thug life, but I never knew it was an acronym for something, and I think it is a very powerful one. I think in other words, it means that the hate you give to children will be internalized and reciprocated back when they're older, and as a result it'll cause them to be stuck in this vicious cycle of societal abuse. And speaking of characters, I liked that each one was very fleshed out and they felt very real, which is something that was different in the movie. I just finished watching the movie and I felt like it was very watered down. It definitely delivered the main message of the book, but they really amplified some things on some characters, or they removed some stuff and they just kind of became strangers to me. So the book is definitely better in this case, but the movie isn't bad. It's just when you know how good the book is, it just makes it look whack. It goes without saying that this was a 5 out of 5 star read for me. I really enjoyed the comic relief in this book as well, even though it dealt with a lot of dark topics. You know what happened? It happened again. I don't know why my phone is doing this. It's never done that before. I read a total of 9 books, but I only spoke about 7. They're part of a secret TBR, and they will be featured in future videos of mine. One of them will be up pretty soon. It is a reading vlog, which I'm super excited about. And so yeah, I can't believe I read 9 books this month. I always assumed that I read about 5 monthly, but I surprised myself. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you did not find this video a complete waste of your time, make sure to like it, subscribe if you'd like to see future videos of mine, and comment how your reading month was, if you read any of the books that I mentioned or the books that you just talked about. Let's just be friends, and please stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you next time. Gracias. Oops, I did it again.